Thank you. Hello, my loves. This is also a recording, by the way. I just wanted to see all of you, surprise you a bit, and just say hello.
Father, are you really here or now?
This is just a recording. All of life is just a recording.
Love you, Father.
Love you, Father.
Love you, Father, so much. Thank you for coming.
So welcome. So welcome.
Thank you for giving us the darshan.
Are you saying? Are you all saying bye now? Is that it?
No,
No. This is just too much happiness, Father. So this.
Was that almost the end of the highlight, or was there a lot more?
Lot more.
Oh, really?
So about 32 minutes left.
Oh, wow. I'll save you from that.
Just stay with us, Father. We'd rather have you real than listening there.
You prefer this one to that one?
Oh my God.
I'm happy to take a question or two if you like. If that guy answered everything, I'm good. When is that video from?
July 2019.
Oh.
Yeah.
No questions. Oh, there is a question.
Namaste, Anantaji.
Namaste, my dear.
It's so good to see you.
Thank you. Same.
I still take myself to be a separate body mind. So, do you have any suggestions?
Yes. Stop.
It's just happening.
It's actually too much work to do that. So when I say stop, I'm just asking you not to work hard. Okay? The mind will tell you that it is too much work to not take yourself to be the body mind. Whereas I'm saying that it's actually too much work to take yourself to be the body mind. So let's experiment with it together. Right now, just don't put any effort for anything at all. Remain completely effortless. Anything that invites you to work, say later, we'll see later. Let it come and go. And tell me what you're taking yourself to be. Is it? It's that simple. It's that simple. If you fall into the idea that organically, naturally, what is here is a person, and we need to do the work to get rid of it, then that is a very strong mental idea which we cannot be free from. You see? So what is important is to recognize, is just to see that right now there is nobody that I take myself to be. Unless I apply my mind, unless I as consciousness believe this to be true about me, believe my limitation to be true about me, I don't take myself to be anything. You see? What's your name? Even that takes a moment, right? Just naturally, you don't have a name. You don't have a form. Where is your body? Where is it? Right now. Right now, where is your body? You see, even that takes time to go and find, okay, these sensations must be my body. The rest of it is a computer, it's a desk. All of these need notions. But just organically, you are free. You see, that is the best news I have for all of you. No matter how much conditioning you have, no matter whether this is your first satsang or your thousandth satsang, this is true for all of you. But if you try to use it, you see, if you try to even apply it, then it seems to get lost. You see, because the user will be the identity that you're trying to get rid of. So it's like first putting on the mask and then saying, how do I get rid of it? Just right now, who are you? What's your name? Where are you from? Who are your parents? Where were you born? None of this is true about you. And we didn't have to do any magic, nothing. If you go for validation to the mind, obviously it is going to only cause some trouble. So this is fully apparent to us. This is fully apparent to us, but it is not understandable to us. Okay? And if we feel that we will only get it once we understand it here, then we'll keep missing it. Then we try to make some meaning out of it, or we try to make a confirmation out of it, or we try to doubt it. Any position that we take only seems to then confuse the whole thing. So let's start with your question again. Is it true that you still take yourself to be the body mind?
At the moment, no.
Easy, but every moment is like this.
I know. But when I find myself identified, then I remind myself, this is also just an appearance in me, this body mind, is it?
It's fine.
Okay.
Whatever.
I let it.
It's very good. Any reminder, you see, any reminder that makes you empty, conceptually empty, is good enough.
Okay. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Yes. Because the bane of the spiritual seeker is the idea of stuckness, is the idea of personhood, which seems to be inherent in your existence already. You see, and then to try and get rid of it becomes a multi lifetime problem to try and solve. But it is just not true. You see? And the mind will say, but how can it be that simple? What have I been doing all of this time? Are you saying that there is nothing more than this? You see? But that which has no insight into what is being discovered, you see, that which has no view into the self, that which cannot perceive awareness, because awareness is unperceivable, will have these kind of statements saying, is that it? There has to be something more. You see? But it is not the one that can really have insight into what the truth is firstly. You see? If somebody goes and tells you, oh, the Mona Lisa, it's nothing. It's so small. It's like a stamp. You see? Then you say, have you seen it actually? No, I read about it somewhere. Then you keep quiet because you don't know. You see? You see? So in the same way, the mind will come and say, is that it? Isn't there something more? I was expecting something else. You see? But did that one find what is being pointed to? You see, when I ask you, are you aware now? Which one makes the discovery?
Consciousness makes the discovery.
Yes, very good. Now, what problem does consciousness have with the discovery?
Nothing.
You see, only the mind will say, oh, but that's just a big empty void, or but that was nothing. Is that it? Oh, I always knew that. What's the big deal in this? You see, all of this nonsense thing will come only from the mind, which cannot fathom the greatness of the unborn, of that which is beyond all phenomena, that which is outside this universe. You see, how wonderful is it that in one question you can leave the boundary of the manifest with one question: are you aware now? It cannot be answered in the manifest, and all of you are answering truly, because the mind will also give you this saying that no, are you really talking about the same awareness that he's talking about? I don't feel like I have the truth of that experience, or some doubt like that. But it is not possible to not have the same experience, because awareness is the same, it is one. You see? So the recognition is super simple, and freedom in the manifest is just organically what is available to you. They are the flowers that are growing in your garden without any help from you. You see? That is freedom. You see? But when we go searching and grasping for some other state, or we refer back to some experience and think that that is what, when I'm free, that is when we get in trouble. No? It is like saying, oh, only then God is God. The rest of the time, God is just not there. He's just taking the day off or something. It is not possible. Even when you play as a person, it is God playing as a person. Because nothing else exists. So, with these two questions, can you stop being? Can you stop being? The discovery of this holy beingness or God or consciousness, whatever you want to call it, is fully apparent. You see? And who is aware even of that being, or are you aware now? That which is aware even of consciousness is fully apparent. You see? The only problem is that you cannot use this in any way to help the me. You see? It can't help me in any way. It is just what it is. You cannot become enlightened using it. You cannot share satsang using it. You cannot do anything with it. It's not a tool for you to use. You see, just like a wave cannot use the ocean. If a wave sees that it is the ocean, how can it use the ocean? You see, it can't. There's nothing it can do with it. You see? So it is our spiritual desire that says, oh, but I thought my life would change this way, or it should become like that. We're looking for something else that can get in the way, if at all anything is getting in the way. If I was free, then this would not happen to me. You see, these kind of conclusions get in our way. But they don't really, because we're free. God is here. All that God can be, all that God ever is here. You see? Now, to try and add to that is just silliness. You see? So, if we say, yes, God is here, but, you see, that is our entry to the mind. That the but is how the mind is knocking and saying, may I come in, please? I have something to say about this. You see? So, let it go. You are aware of all of your perceptions. You are aware of your perceptions, isn't it? You see this hand, you hear this mouth. You see? You're aware of the hearing, you're aware of sight. It is simple. That awareness is you. What else could you be? In your looking, in your insight, what else could you be? Did somebody have to teach you that you are aware of your sight or you are aware of your hearing? Did somebody ever have to tell you that one is you, that one is you? You see? Find that. You see? What is there to find? Isn't it clear? You see? So before we take on a journey, before we decide to undertake a journey to find ourselves, let's see if it is actually lost in the first place. You see, otherwise the notion of finding ourselves is just a way of fulfilling our desires. You say, once I find myself, I will be peaceful. Once I find myself, there will be no suffering. You see, so it is just still about the phenomenal. Where did you lose yourself? And don't try to solve it for yesterday's you who was stuck in some difficult situation and frustrated. You see, don't try to project it into some future you who will say, oh, right now it's fine, but what about after that sun? I'm talking about right now. Is it not apparent to you that you are this awareness? Okay. Now, the only way you'll get in trouble is if you try to understand this, which means if you try to squeeze this into your heads. Without the attempt to squeeze anything into your head, tell me something. Without trying to understand anything at all, what is it? What could you want here? Okay, Tino can come, then Pankaj can come. First, Tino.
Hello, Anantaji.
Hello, my love.
I want to expose this one. It's been bothering me so much. There's this one that always wants to be chief of the senses, wants to navigate the senses the way it wants.
Acha.
And it's something here is compulsively believing that. I don't know.
Just expand. What do you mean by control the senses or chief of the senses?
I mean that the senses are easily swayed by phenomena.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And something doesn't like that.
Yeah.
Because it's a spiritual notion that you have to control your senses before you can be free. Something like this? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you can simplify and tell me if it is okay to simplify like this, attention can go wherever it is going, but something wants attention not to go wherever it wants. You see, because when we are saying senses, we are talking about perception, isn't it? Now, in the waking state, is there ever a time where we are absent of perception, where perception is absent?
Yes.
In the waking state, when does that happen?
I don't know.
It doesn't happen. You see, in the waking state, there is always perception. Even if there is no sight, there is no hearing, you still perceive darkness. You still perceive like a dark, empty space. You'll still
Yes.
perceive some sensations in the body. You'll still perceive something. You see? And even if everything is blank, you'll still perceive the blank. You see? So in the presence of being, perception is inherent. When the waking state is there, perception is inherent. Now, we have also heard this beautiful concept that everything is God. You see? Now, if that is true and everything is God, how does it matter whether I'm perceiving a garbage can or a bundle of flowers? It is not inherent in our perceiving of anything that there is distinction between anything, that there is duality. That is not inherent in perception. Okay? So let attention go wherever attention wants. It's completely fine. You see? But what is on the other end of attention? So on one end of attention are all the objects, these objective appearances on this end of attention. What is all that coming to? Who does attention report to?
The presence.
You see? And who is aware of even that presence? You are. You're not making up the answer presence, isn't it?
Yes.
If it was not you, then you would say, I'm imagining that it is presence. But you're not saying that. You're saying that I see that it is presence. You see, with my inner eyes, not with sight, but I see, I recognize that it is being or presence or consciousness. You see? Now, this recognition, which is so simple, when we say, but who is that? Then it seems to get a bit complicated because that which was so simple, I am aware of my presence, is so clear. But when it is asked, but what does that I look like? It all seems to get confusing because in our worldly mind, we feel like everything has to look like something to really exist. You see? That which is non-phenomenal cannot be real. So when we look like that, we say, I don't find that one. So am I just making this up? It can
Yes.
become doubt.
Something in the satsang got addicted to the feeling of expansion. I don't know.
Yeah.
When some concept is broken, then some space arises, and it's almost like I want this space to blow over everything.
Yes. So forget about that.
Yes.
About that because it's not about expansion or contraction. Although it is a common experience that as you let go of a limiting concept, as you leave it, you see, it is experienced. This kind of spacious experience can be done. But the point of this is not to become addicted to that sort of experience of spaciousness. In fact, just right now, you're fully spacious. Before you tug at the branch of the tree of the mind, which gives you one leaf which seems to pull the whole tree back and create the whole realm of limitations. You see, before that, you're completely spacious. But when we tug at one leaf, it can seem like the whole set of limitations is back. Because every concept depends on every other concept.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see this last point in the practical life.
So, so even practical or not practical is just a mental distinction. I mean, sometimes we use that tool to talk in satsang, but really at your level, we must not make this distinction between practical life and spiritual life, or because this is what is practical life. That means that is what God does not run, but you have to run. Is that what practical life is? What is practical life? So there's satsang life, which is spiritual life, and then the rest of it, the guru is not in charge. You see, in satsang, it's guru kripa kevalam, but outside satsang, it's me kripa kevalam. So, is that distinction real for you now? Are you at that
No.
level where
No.
it has to be played out this way, or can you leave everything to God's grace, to Guru's grace?
Okay.
Very good. Is it? So, whatever the content of perception may be, it is God. Whatever the content of perception may be, it is God. You don't have to try and control your attention this way, that way. Your attention cannot go to the self anyway. You see, because if it did it, the self would also be an object then. If the self also came and went, then it would be as objective as everything else. So, what is the spiritual place to put your attention at?
I don't have the answer.
Yes, you see, because now the distinctions are going between spiritual, practical, all this. All of this is God's life. Very good, very good, very good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, Pankaj can come.
Namaste.
Namaste, my dear.
I'm listening to you for the first time.
That's right.
So I have a question that, I mean, it feels like I know the answer and yet don't know the answer. So I'm in a state of like a bit confused about it. So like I am with myself and a thought comes that you need to look for a new work, new job. You are running out of your savings.
Yes.
Situations are very challenging.
Yes.
Now, this thought actually distracts me, and I then get on to appropriate channel and start browsing and looking for opportunities.
Yes.
And though I know that I am taken care of, and not intellectually also, but experientially also.
Yes. Yes.
Because I have been very well taken care of so far.
Yes.
And but yet there is a fear within that, I should not lose my lifestyle because I am not doing much.
Yes.
And so this is something that, take me away from my being and distracts me quite often.
Yes.
So since I was here, so I just thought to check this with you.
Yes. Very good. Very good. Thank you for asking, and it's a very nice report and question. So let's examine one thing. Suppose that money, health of the body, relationships, and freedom. These are the four main problems in the human condition. Okay.
Right.
So let's put them in the box. Let's call them for a moment cat problems. They are the problems of the cat. Okay. Now, before we start running after solving these problems, we have to first confirm that we are a cat, isn't it?
If cat is cat as an animal cat.
Yeah. Let's say cat, whatever, rabbit, whatever animal you want.
Okay.
Just to create some distance from the human condition. Right? So let's say that these are cat problems, and before you run after, I have to solve my money problem, I have to solve my body health problem, I have to solve my relationship problem, and ultimately I have to solve my freedom problem. all of these, let's put them in the compartment of the cat problem. You see?
Okay.
So now, first, in using even the intellect, even logic, it wouldn't make sense if you are a rabbit to try and solve cat problems. Like if you're a rabbit, you should be solving rabbit problems, or if you're a horse, you should be solving horse problems.
Right.
So, so you wouldn't want to waste your whole life solving problems which are not really yours because you are not really a cat anyway,
Right.
isn't it? So that is why I'm saying that most important first is to find out who we are,
Right.
you see, and find out if that one really has a problem. Does that one have a want?
No.
Does that one have an aversion? You see?
No.
So based on that, then we can determine what are the problems that I should be solving, and to solve the perennial human question, which is what should I be doing? You see, it all depends on who you are, isn't it?
Right.
You see? So who is it that you truly feel you are?
So when I see from my true position,
Yes,
I see that there's no problem.
yes,
I don't need anything.
yes,
Right.
Yeah.
And there's no want, there's no desire. There cannot be any want, cannot be any desire.
yes.
And
Very good.
that
Very good.
conviction is very much there.
Let's pause at this point. This is very important point.
Right.
So you said that when you look from your true position,
Right.
there is no problem. You see,
Right. Right.
that means in the true position, you don't find a little old human being there. You
Right.
see, in your true position, you're not finding a person there. Because if you are a person, then there is one big problem, which is death is coming. You see,
Right.
this body is fading away, it is definitely coming.
Right.
Then always in the world there are changes. So nothing is stable. Money is not stable. Relationship is not stable. Even how free you think you are is not stable.
True.
Everything in this world is unstable. So in your true position, you must have definitely discovered that you cannot just be this body mind. You must be something else,
Right.
isn't it?
Right.
So already that is great. Already that is great. Now the problem that can happen is, and we can just verify some of this, is that uh, we can make two positions, but both positions could be conceptual.
Okay.
You see? So if I look at this, you see, I could say, oh, this is a phone. You see? If another one who has not seen a phone like this, you see, maybe comes from some village or something, would say, is this a brick? You see? So what this is notionally or conceptually depends on what we have learned. You see? So these are examples of two positions. So we could look at this and say, here is a person, here is a body, here is a body-mind organism, if you like. You see? And, oh, this is not person, this is the self, or this is consciousness, or this is God. You see? Now, what I want to check with all of you is whether both the answers come from the same place. So let's do a quick experiment. Yes? How will we check that? So look at this object in my hand. What is this? Just simple
Phone.
question. Phone. All of you see it's a phone? It's a phone. Yes. Now, are you aware now?
Yeah.
Did the answer to both questions come from the same place? Look again. What is this?
This is phone.
Yes. You see? It's a phone. Now, are you aware now?
Yes.
So what is the difference between the conformation of both of these? Take your time with this. Take your time with this. Because this is the master key in a way. Is the conformation of yourself as awareness or your awareness, does it come from the same process that you are able to call this a phone?
So I am aware that
Yes.
this is a phone.
Yes, yes. So
There's no doubt about it.
very good. That is very good. So
Right.
I am aware of the object of perception, whatever the object may be. It may be this
Right.
whole manifest universe. You see, that is apparent. But the way we confirm the presence of an objective appearance versus we confirm that I am aware.
Right.
What is the difference in the two? Okay, so let me make it simpler. It's not a test or something. I'm just saying that in the first one, we take a set of phenomenal perceptions and we search our mind for the label for this and say, okay, phone. See? The label comes and we are able to put this in a set of familiar perceptions and say this is what defines a phone. But when I ask you, am I aware? That awareness itself, that awareness itself, you do not see it as a perception. You do not
Right.
see it as phenomenal.
Right.
And yet you confirm it.
Right.
And that is the beauty, that you confirm yourself as awareness without needing a perception of awareness.
Right.
You see? And from that is what we call intuitive insight. You see? So intuitive insight tells us the truth about what we are. Now, if we rely on that intuitive insight, it can also help like in the play, help consciousness navigate this life. You see, it needs no other assistance from that which we call the mind, or these conceptual understandings, or even spiritual frameworks. None of those are needed. Have we gone too far? I realize you said this is your first satsang, but
No, no, actually, because it doesn't take me effort to come back to my true self.
Exactly.
And I am mostly in with my true self and perceiving things for my true self.
You're doing very well. You're doing very well. I just want to ask you one question.
Yeah.
One that is mostly here or can be there, is that one real?
No.
You see? So it is just a habit that we put ourselves back in a framework, which has a narrative which is between birth and death. And then we try to make even ourselves, which is such a pristine discovery, we try to make that a part of our narrative or a part of our experiences in that way. But it is not possible that way. You see, the me or the me idea or the personal idea, you see, can never get a hold on this self. So what is happening is that you're having a true insight about yourself. But the mind is saying, this is good. I am able to stay like this. You don't need that. You don't need to insert it into your narrative. Because the minute you put it in your narrative, actually you lose out in the integrity of the insight. You see, it becomes another experience.
Right.
You see? And that puts us in a very strange condition, because then we feel like, but then how am I supposed to report? How am I supposed to report what's happening to me? But I am already aware that nothing is happening to you. You see, you are the self itself. But if some narrative still seems strong, we can expose. There's no trouble, especially since you're in the honeymoon period here.
Okay.
But you have a sense of what I'm saying, no?
Yes, absolutely.
Very good, very good. Because this distinction between conceptual knowledge about what something is, you see, and intuitive insight about your true self, which we can just see with a simple example like this is a phone and I am aware. You see? So I feel that a simple experiment like this can take away a lot of spiritual struggle, because many are trying to find the self, like they'll find it like the phone, which they cannot do. And what happens mostly is that you find yourself in this intuitive way, but the mind does not confirm that understanding, because to the mind you didn't find anything. What is awareness to the mind?
Right.
It's nothing. It's like nothing. It's a waste of time. It's an empty void. You see? So don't try to convince your mind about your reality. Let the mind do whatever it wants.
So coming back to your example that you
Yeah.
gave just now, so money is not my problem. I
Yeah.
can conclude that money is not my problem.
All of the four things in the human condition
Yeah,
would be a
it's not my
problem.
problem.
Huh? Huh?
It's not my problem. All the four things that you
Yes,
mentioned
yes.
is
They
not my
would,
problem.
yes, but okay. So once you see that the human construct, you see, the human construct is just part of the worldly play, which includes everything, time, space, all these objects. As part of all of that, with some centrality of visual perspective, there seems to be this body mind. You see, but because it has centrality, doesn't mean that it is you. You see,
Right.
because many times when we say this in spirituality that, oh, I see it is not my problem, we may be still subtly referring to ourselves as this body mind and saying, okay, because I, this one, am not a human, therefore it is not my problem anymore. So that is not what I'm advising to do. I'm advising that you lose all these limited references to yourself, you see, and then you will see that the notion of a problem itself doesn't exist. Are you getting the distinction? Because it
Yes.
is subtle. And if you fall into the second one, you see, if you fall into the idea of yourself still being somewhat this one and having no problems, that can become like a spiritual ego. So, what is important is to see that I cannot make a reference of myself truly to be this. You see, once I make the reference of myself to be this, then this one will have all those problems. The only reason why it doesn't have those problems is because I am not this one.
So basically, there is nothing personal about anything.
Exactly. Exactly. There is nothing personal because there is no person.
Right. True. Thank you so much.
Oh, well. Oh. Clear, clear? And remember that when I ask for clarity, I'm not saying asking whether the mind is clear. For me, it is completely fine. If the mind is fully confused, also, I'm maybe happier. Exactly. Chanda says in full, we just know, rather we have to think. And when we say that knowing without thinking or perception, that knowing which is independent of thinking or perception, that knowing is self knowledge. What do you know without having to think or perceive? Once we fall into the paradigm of taking ourselves to be the non existent cat, you see, if we take ourselves to be the non existent cat, then there is no use of trying to deny the cat problem. Then it just becomes like a Advaita denial or something. Truly, what is important is to see what you truly are. Good, good. Maybe we'll make a habit of this. we'll just post that we'll be watching highlights. And then sometimes I'll show up like this and sometimes I won't show up like this. It'll be a fun game. I was speaking to some of my children before this and they were like, tell father whether you're really going to be there, then I'll come. And I said, you prefer this one over that one? What is wrong with that one? One asks, how are you doing in the health situation? I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine. And it's been tough in India to wake up every morning to some news about some loved one passing away or something like this. So I won't say it's been all fun and games, but I completely feel grace. I completely feel that grace is guiding us and good strongly. And the health, this body's health is fine. Sometimes it's been experiencing a fair amount of tiredness, so I've been trying to take a bit of a break from sharing and things. But like today, I feel quite energetic actually. So I was happy to show up, and I can also hear in this expression that the break has helped in a way. It seems to be full on right now. So. I'm so happy I got to see all of you. And also some of you were not here when I started, but which is good. Did you get some information? It's fine. Okay, so if there, Adrian has a hand up.
Hello, Father.
Hello, my love.
Nice to see you. What I wanted to share and check with you a bit, because you also say that in the waking state we cannot not have a perception.
Yeah.
And but you point us to the awareness that is independent of perception. So that's, for example, what is independent of thinking, it's easier for me to recognize. But what is independent of perception in the waking state, it's a bit difficult.
Yes. So let's go through this together because this is my favorite question. No?
Yeah.
So in the sleep state, there is no trouble because there is no perception. You see, there's nothing to identify with. You see, and yet it's just fully apparent. When we wake up, we are able to report, oh, I woke up at this time. You see, it is only the waking state which causes this trouble, or whether you call it waking or dream state. The realm of perceptions, when it appears, that's where the seeming trouble seems to start, isn't it? Now, just to continue with that experiment we were doing earlier, no? So this hand that you perceive is a perception, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you perceiving this hand?
To my sight.
Through sight. Very good. Through sight. Now, how are you aware of sight?
Sight somehow reports to me.
Yes, and that. Yes, very good. So that you to which it reports, can that be an object of perception? Can that be an object of sight?
No, it's no. It's
It's okay. We can go very slowly. This is very important. So sometimes what may happen is that when we look, it may feel like, oh, there is a dark, empty space which is aware of perception, like sight. You see, but it is not that. Even the dark, empty space is perceived. You see, and you are aware even of that.
Yeah.
You see, and you're able to confirm that I am aware even of that without perceiving that. Isn't it? Without perceiving that awareness, you're able to confirm it.
Wow.
You see? So that is what I mean by independent of perception. Because the realm of perception doesn't go away. It is still there because it is the waking state. But independent of what perception may be, what the mode of perception may be, that awareness which is aware of sight, sound, taste, touch, smell, all of these types of perception, that awareness remains unchanged because it has no quality, it has no attribute. And yet we can confirm this. It is not just conceptual knowledge. We can confirm this with our own insight, but that insight does not need a perception. Is it? It's clearer now what I mean by independent?
Yeah. Thank you.
So it doesn't mean that the perceptions must go away. It only means that the perceptions can be there, but independent of those perceptions, there is a deeper knowing or deeper insight.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm glad you asked this because all this can become very confusing. Good. I'm just seeing all of you. You know that all of this is a recording, right? There's no actual way to confirm this. Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Sadhguru Sri Muji Baba ki
Sadhguru Shri Ananta Ji ki Jai.
I saw that Radha ji is here. Is she gone or what? You want to sing something? No, she's talking to her family.
Yes, Father. Sorry. I'm just going to sing something, so just stay quiet. Just a second, Father. I have to charge my phone. Okay. Father, is there anything you want to hear?
No, it's good. Like a nice Krishna one, maybe someone.
Yeah.
No.
Hey Govinda, Hari Narayana. Hey Govinda, Hari Narayana. Hey Gopala, Hari Narayana. Hey Gopala, Hari Narayana. बांसुरी बजाए बोले नंदलाल, बांसुरी बजाए बोले नंदलाल. हे गोविंदा, हरि नारायण. हे गोपाला, हरि नारायण. बांसुरी बांसुरी बजाए मोरे नंदलाल, बांसुरी बजाए मोरे नंदलाल, मन मोहना गोविंदा, 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 हे गोविंदा हरि नारायण, हे गोपाला हरि नारायण, बांसुरी बजाए मोरे नंदलाल, बांसुरी बजाए मोरे नंदलाल, हे गोविंदा हरि नारायण, हे गोविंदा हरि नारायण, हरि नारायण, हरि नारायण.
So good, so good. Thank you, Madhuri.
Thank you, Father. Father, I just want to thank you so much.
Love you, love you. Love you
Love
all
you,
so much.
Father.
Big thank you to Nitin and Jyotima for organizing these sessions, and it seemed quite nice actually. I joined for a bit. I was hearing this guy speaking, and he seemed pretty good actually. Didn't need me there at all. Just some Advaita humor. Okay. Love you all. Somebody told me they're missing my PJs, so which is poor jokes basically. So they got a sampling.